TGIF family, thank God it's Friday and welcome to WWT Live. And on today's show, we have a lot to get into as we preview Bad Blood, we preview Smackdown, and it looks like AEW is open for business.
Out on bail, first out of jail, California dreaming. As soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, feeding for money and alcohol.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
TGIF, everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to another edition of WWT Live as part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. I am the guy they call the Professor, Teflon G, GB. Just call me Gerard, and that's fine with me because we've got a jam-packed show. We've got a lot to talk about, everything from the 5-year anniversary to the 27-year anniversary of Hell in a Cell. We'll get into all of it. But I am not alone. No, I am not alone. The councilman is with us. Councilman Pharaoh, how are you, sir?
Have no fear. Your councilman is here, and he is glad to be on WWT. How are you today, Professor?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
Oh, man, I can't complain, man. A little tired, but hey, it's the end of the week. Weekend is coming, and nothing rejuvenates you more than watching some bad blood go down this week.
I am with you. It's been a great wrestling week. I mean, from cover to cover, it really, really has. And so it's Friday, so you know what that means.
It's the Queen Bee of WWT, Wrestling with Honey with
Honey Pop Predictions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Honey is here. How are you?
And she is mute.
Yes, she is. She's waxing poetic.
I am of course, this always happens to me somehow. But hello, everybody. I am absolutely buzzing with excitement. Bad Blood is here, and SmackDown, the go-home show, right before Insane, and I'm so ready.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, guys?
Absolutely. Got to shout out everybody in the chat. Dylan is in the chat. Good to see you, sir. Zach Minger, happy National Cinnamon Roll Day. I actually do believe that is a real day today. No, seriously, it's one of the many days that are randomly celebrated. So yeah, we should probably find a way to celebrate. Jeffrey, good to see you. Councilman Sparrow, sir, that's funny. Welcome aboard Tribal Polo 37. Good to have you with us. Special Little Nobody's in the house. Good to see you. Yes, and they love the Queen's intro. Indeed, all kinds of fun. All right, so there's lots to get into. We will certainly talk about all things SmackDown. We will talk about all things Bad Blood. But first, we have to go back to this Wednesday night, and it's kind of funny because, you know, there's a certain someone we expect to be here anytime we talk about anything elite, but the show must go on. And one of the big surprises that came out of the 5-year anniversary was the guy who is the president of the complaint department for all things MVP. We saw the arrival of Shelton Benjamin, and there's a lot of rumors going around about what all of this could mean, including the talk that this man has apparently signed. Now, again, we've not heard an official announcement from AEW as of yet, but there is talk that Bobby Lashley has signed. Shelton Benjamin is there. So here's a simple question. Is AEW really open for business? Honey, what do you think?
Well, considering the moves that MVP has been making lately, I can't help but wonder that business could possibly be picking up. I like the momentum that they're keeping with this story. Can't wait to see where it leads to, if this is actually what is to be, that, you know, Bobby Lashley with AEW. Even the interaction with Monet, I found very, very interesting. Yeah. I mean, as far as what kind of business they want to do, I'm not sure, but it looks like the roster has a problem coming their way.
It could be interesting, Councilman. One of the things that's been happening in AEW, when of course MVP showed up last week, he showed up talking to Prince Nana about potentially acquiring the services of one former AEW World Champion, Swerve Strickland. So, do you think we have a space in the coming weeks where we have Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and Swerve as part of the new Hurt Business or the Hurt Syndicate? What are your thoughts? Oh, you don't think it's going to happen?
Stay away from Swerve. Here's the only reason why I say that. Because then what does Bobby do? These are two, you just now added two alpha dogs in one group. I don't see Bobby going, yes, we're going to make Swerve AEW champion, when he knows that belt can get wrapped around him. So eventually these two are going to have to clash with one another rather than y'all partnering up. But I even agree to Courtney's case of maybe having some others that are already there be a part of the Hurt Business. But if Bobby is signed and he's open for business, that's your forefront right there. Because even coming here, it reminds me of his TNA days. And I feel like Bobby will dominate here at AEW. I don't think he will be one of those that kind of gets swept under the massive roster that is. I think they really can make something happen.
Interesting. Let's go to the chat, because there's some interesting conversations that are happening over here. Boza says, I like that MVP went after Mercedes. She needs a strong mouthpiece. He'd be a good talker for her. Tribal Polo says, Bobby, Swerve, Monet, MVP, the Standard, and Nana, just to show you how black booking is supposed to look. Interesting. Shelton has been reduced to a bodyguard for MVP because he's intimidated by Prince Nana. Not so fast.
No. Hey, let's not do that.
I don't know about all that.
No.
I'm
Head
not
of the
sure
complaint
about that.
department? Nah, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said business partner. Let's not forget that. He said business partner. That's not a bodyguard.
I want to be real careful that we don't misinterpret one's introduction for who they really are. So there's that. Let's see. The Hurt Syndicate will be in full swing. If Swerve is in this new Hurt Syndicate, then Nana goes bye-bye. Well, probably bye-bye from Swerve if it does go down like that. But meanwhile, Jeffrey says, please stay away from Swerve. So this is an interesting conundrum here. Honey, do you think that Swerve fares better with this potential new Hurt Syndicate or remaining on his own?
I mean, that's so tough because Prince Nana is just so over with the crowd, and it's like part of, Swerve's entrance and coming out to the ring. It's just something that everybody gets into. The Swerve when I drop, I mean, I think he can fare well on his own. I absolutely think he can. I think he has a lot of potential there to actually grow solo, without without a manager or a valet or his own particular wise man, in this case, Prince Nana. But I think Swerve does have that capability. It would be very interesting to see him join this Hurt Syndicate that is forming, though. I think that would take a pretty cool turn.
Yeah, I think this gets interesting. And before I share my thoughts, let me ask this question, and Councilman, certainly you can weigh in. Has Prince Nana really added to Swerve?
Yes, because in where the seriousness is Swerve, the balance come in with Nana being able to get over on the crowd. So they found a good symmetry with one another, because now you have everyone excited to see him. Even just look at the intro. Who are you looking at the entertainment wise? This. this has the crowd pumping up for you. How does Swerve walk out? Swerve walk out like he don't want to be there. Like just be. And that's it. So now you take the Nana effect away. It's just that, like, who's telling us to do this? Because I don't see Swerve having us do this for himself. So I think it's a great balance of, like you said, wise man and tribal chief with Nana and Swerve. It's become a perfect combination. And the fact that he does it when he's during the match. That was something I noticed too. Nana still throws out, whose house? Swerve's house. I've never seen anyone do that, manager-wise. I've never seen it. And again, I'm not saying that it hasn't. I just can't think of any time that I've seen like, wow. You know, besides the clap, like this and stuff, them actually doing the chant and getting them started, it's don't mix them together. Don't please.
So,
MVP, stay away.
So it's interesting though, because is Nana more of a hype man than a wise man?
I would say more hype man for me. But to be fair, you know, I don't watch AEW like that, so I haven't really seen his backstage interviews of him talking, being on the mic and stuff as much. So don't fully take mine on that one.
I can tell you that outside of the dance and the whose house, Swerve's house, that's about all we get.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then I'll stick.
Honey,
right,
is he more of a hype man than a wise man?
Yeah, it would have to be a wise hype man. Excuse me. Yeah, definitely a hype man.
So I think this is interesting. There's a part of me that feels like the next evolution for Swerve is MVP and this Hurt Syndicate. Now, it's interesting because I know for those who want Swerve to go on his own, I can't quite tell if Swerve doesn't like being on his own or if others feel like he's better with a group, because everywhere he's been with a group. You know, if you go back to what he did in NXT with Hit Row, to when he came over to AEW. First, he was by himself for a little bit. Then he hooked up with Keith Lee. Then he got the Mogul Embassy together, which felt like a band of misfit toys. And then they put a couple of groups together. He's always been connected to a group. Interestingly enough, he's always been the leader of a group, but no one in the group has ever been as strong as him. So I wonder how well he could benefit from the veteran nature of both Shelton Benjamin and MVP and Bobby Lashley. To me, I think there's a great case for Swerve being a part of this Hurt Syndicate and then having some real protection when you're dealing with the highly unhinged Hangman Page. Because think about it. MVP would not have put Swerve's new house in front of the whole world to see, knowing that you have a hangman ready to burn it down.
Right.
But the hype man said, hey, this is what we did, told the whole world, and it didn't last a day. So we'll see.
But I gotta ask though, Professor, because you're mentioning MVP, you're mentioning Sheldon.
Yes.
But you're not mentioning the big other equation in this Hurt Syndicate. Bobby. Does Bobby take a back seat to Swerve?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I think. I think, you know, the goal of this will obviously be to have them dripping in gold, much like what we saw in WWE, where you had a world champion, you had tag team champions, and at one point you even had a U.S. champion. I think as long as these guys are in gold, we're in a winning space. And the beautiful part about AEW is there are 15 million opportunities for you to wear gold. So between the TNT championship, the international championship, the continental championship, you have enough championships where they don't have to touch the world title.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
Trios too.
the trios title. So that there doesn't have to be that fight over who's the world champion, to the point where maybe they're not talking about the world title until we get to Continental Classic, which is just in a couple of months. So there's some opportunities, interestingly enough. And so this is interesting right here. Remember the hype man for Bobby Lashley, Lio Rush. Yeah, and remember Lio Rush in AEW right now, which I think any potential collision or interaction between Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley could get very interesting.
I
So
would
this is
love
all,
to see that.
yeah, this is interesting stuff for AEW. But again, congratulations. If indeed, and I say if because we always like to wait to see him on our televisions before we say that he is officially All Elite. So speaking of All Elite, of course, this past Wednesday night was the 5-year anniversary for Dynamite. And honestly, this was a pay-per-view worthy kind of card. From Ospreay and Ricochet to start, to Danielson and Okada to end. There was a lot that happened on this show. Now, of course, and I know Cousin Ron didn't want us to talk about the numbers, but the numbers are in. And this week's show pulled in 680,000 viewers, which is actually, if you can imagine this, down from the week before where they did Grand Slam. And right on cue.
That was a hot week, though. That was a hot week.
Yeah, it was.
WWT resident AEW expert Courtney and J11.
Oh, like perfect time.
Yeah.
Timing.
Right
time.
on time.
Well, Courtney
girl.
is here. And so, Courtney, we are talking about the ratings right now for 5 years of Dynamite. Came in at something like 680,000, 685 or something along that line, which is down from Grand Slam the week before. So let me ask you this, Courtney. How do you interpret these numbers when in comparison to the opening episode of Dynamite, it was somewhere close to 1 million viewers at 5 years ago?
It's interesting because looking at the 5-year span, and also because it kicked off really nice with Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and I think because a lot of it had to deal with because there was just so much that was messy all over the place with booking wise, and not to mention they're getting ready for Wrestle Dream next Saturday, so they kind of have to add some matches into that card. That was kind of a bit of a stretch. I will say I enjoyed the main event, even though it was a little bit of an overrun, way of an overrun. It was a very solid main event. And I think also because everybody, the week before, everybody was so excited to see Nigel and Bryan Danielson. And that was kind of a match that built up a bit. I know there was a little bit of history with Danielson and Okada, but I think it should have been built up a little bit sooner than later, considering before that they were 1-1 apiece, and also they've had history with each other, so I think that should have built like a little bit of a promo. I know everybody was focusing on Will Ospreay and Ricochet, but it would have been nice to at least include that in as well.
Interesting. Honey, what are your thoughts on and how are you interpreting these ratings for AEW Dynamite on their 5-year anniversary?
You said that their numbers were down from the previous event that they had.
They were down from last week. Last week was Grand Slam, and
Right.
it was about 700,000, and this was down by about 20,000.
I mean, is that? I get, and of course, I'm not going to sit here and say ratings don't matter because they definitely do. But considering the card was as strong as it was, the ratings should have probably been more than last week. I do find it a little concerning that it wouldn't have been higher than last week because of exactly how strong these matches were and how they came in so hot. Ricochet and Will Ospreay, I'm going to need them to run that back quite a few more times. I don't think I appreciated watching some of their clips enough when getting familiar with how their history is. So there's still a lot of story to build there, but I'm actually kind of concerned. Well, not really concerned, but I'm really surprised that the ratings weren't higher than last week. So it's, I mean, maybe that's something that they're worried about. Maybe it's something that they're not, and they're just going to keep moving on to the next thing, for Wrestle Dream.
Councilman, let me ask you this. 5 years ago, AEW Dynamite debuts, and it debuts and starts the Wednesday Night War at that time between AEW Dynamite and NXT. At that time, I believe Dynamite's rating was something to the effect of either a high 900,000 or perhaps 1 million compared to NXT's 500,000 or 600,000. Here we are 5 years later. NXT's moved to a different night, Tuesday night. AEW has Wednesday night to themselves. And if this were head-to-head, and we'll be head-to-head next Tuesday, but NXT pulls 895, Dynamite pulls 685. What do you make of that?
Not gonna shit on AEW. I know this is my perfect time to keep.
That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm literally asking how you interpret that.
You know what it is, though? If I'm being honest, I don't think it's nothing on their part. I really just think like, yo, we get a lot of wrestling throughout the week. And I feel like burnout can definitely be a thing. Because like the previous week before, like if you think about it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, probably even Thursday, Friday, all fire wrestling shows. Even on Saturday, it was just like, yo, it was bad. And so it was just like, fatigue can set in when it comes to that. And I think it's just maybe that was something that could have happened right here. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't care about it. It was their 5th anniversary at all. Like I still don't think Will and Ricochet should have been on this card. That is, it's the same thing like when people are like, Julia's gonna beat Roxy. Why do you want to see that so quickly? Especially after what we saw in the first 5 minutes. It's like Honey has said since we've been in the Hunter era, you got to let this thing cook up a little bit. But I just think fatigue is in.
Strangely enough, you may have just said the real answer without saying the real answer. And and I don't think it's fatigue. I think, fans of the sport are fans of the sport. And there's enough of a diverse presentation being presented such that you're not required to watch AEW and NXT and Raw and SmackDown and Dynamite and Collision and TNA. That is not the expectation. I think 5 years ago, it was clear that people were looking for an alternative. And so they ran and flocked to AEW. I think the real question is, how is AEW Dynamite different today than it was 5 years ago? And how is NXT different today than it was 5 years ago? If we think about NXT 5 years ago, we're coming basically out of the black and gold era. We still have, some Undisputed Era. We still have Velveteen Dream. We still have a few things of that nature. NXT then went through a real change as they went to NXT 2.0. Everybody was impacted by the pandemic, but in the process, NXT was able to build new stars, create the kind of stories that made you care, and to what both you, Councilman, and Honey have said, the process of cooking, when you want that good meal, it's got to go in the oven. And it can't be in the oven for 5 minutes. Sometimes you got to season that bad boy. Thanksgiving is coming next month. You got to season that turkey the night before, maybe even, a couple days before. Let the seasonings sit in there. And then you go and you get into the oven and you let that bad boy cook. And I fear, and kind of here's the proof. So to what Courtney said, AEW did not do a good job of preparing the people for a game-changing match like Danielson and Okada. You bookended this show with 2 matches that should be on pay-per-view. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, is the assumption that if I tell people 2 days in advance that Bryan Danielson is battling Kazuchika Okada title for title with the Continental title on the line for the first 20 minutes, that is enough to bring the people in. I think, it's the equivalent of, us going on social media 2 hours before the show and saying, we got a special guest showing up and not telling people a week in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying they're a TV dinner? AEW is a TV dinner. That's cold in it's hot around the sides, but it's cold in the center.
I didn't say that. What I am saying is, and to your other point, Councilman, about people being burned out, when the story is good, we don't get burned out.
This is true. That is true.
The story
you're right.
is good.
You're right.
We don't get there. I believe, for those who are Grey's Anatomy fans, I believe this is season 17 or season 18 of Grey's Anatomy. We're going into season 26 of SVU. People ain't tired of a good story.
Olivia Benson will always have a job.
This is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So I think, and I'm saying this very very lovingly, because you will never hear me say AEW should close its doors. I don't believe that. I just believe, especially now, and I don't know if I said this Wednesday or where I said this, but it hits different when people pay you more. Hold on. It hits different when people pay you more. Okay? And I imagine most of us around, sitting around the table and in the chat have gotten paid, right? And you've gotten a raise. When you get a raise or you get a promotion, I trust that you feel the pressure like, yo, I better perform. Like, I need to get this done because they're paying me more. I hope you don't say, oh, they're paying me more, let me do less. So in my mind, with AEW getting basically 4 to 5 times the amount of money they were previously getting, like, you got to figure out a way to deliver such that people want to watch. And here's where I think ratings are important, because they say what the demand is. There are certain things that you can watch later, right? You can watch later because you don't feel like I got to catch it. But if it's something that's super hot, I need to catch it live. Are we creating the kind of demand that says we need to catch this live?
Right.
And I fear that that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
Courtney, can I ask you, because maybe so for instance, like before Friday, for SmackDown and Raw, we always see the general managers pop on with a special announcement. Does any of them do that at AEW?
I'm trying to think. Tony does every now and then. I haven't seen much of Christopher Daniels done it. I haven't even seen the Young Bucks, considering they're the EVPs, considering they haven't even showed up and made a lot of orders. So it's like kind of going back and forth a bit. And I think that's the problem, is like consistency. Because I know there have been reports of Tony making a special announcement, and usually he'll make it like a few minutes before the start of Dynamite. But other than that, I mean, I haven't seen much. And usually Christopher Daniels, they usually post it on social, or he did make an announcement on Rampage instead of the main show Dynamite. So that's also a little bit.
Hold that thought of Rampage.
Stop it, don't judge. So take a pic and take a photograph. No paper, just a Billy for the ride slot. Peace, see you later. What's next? I know you love the way it's going down. What's next? I know you love the way it's going down. What's next? I know you love the way it's going down. What's next? I know you love the way it's going down.
watching you as this video played is hilarious. I won't tell them what happened in the comments, but watching you as that played was hilarious.
Ced, good to see you, sir. I
What's up,
apologize.
everybody? Oh no, you're good.
Hey.
You're good.
Man, we
Sorry
got caught
I'm
up
late.
in-
I would apologize for being late, but I'm blind to time, so I'm just gonna say that
well,
I'm here.
You're here. What are your thoughts
Well-
on these ratings from AEW and what all of this means?
You know, it's funny that we're talking about this. I didn't see this on the rundown sheet, but I saw a tweet earlier today. When you're looking at 5 years of Dynamite and all the big names that are out there, this tweet was pretty much alluding to that Tony doesn't have many more big money matches he can just give away.
Mm-hmm.
And that we're not really reaping the benefits of that return on investment. So something has to give there, because they are. It's funny how we looked at like years ago when there was probably some joy with beating NXT when it was in that transition, but like now NXT is like really up there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even just the loaded up shows. We can wait a couple weeks to see how the ratings are when we're fully into the CW, like well into October, November. And if nothing changes, that says a lot, because you're putting out a lot of money for superstars, but it seems like programming hasn't caught up to speed. So they have the new deal, things like that. Hopefully that helps. But I think it boils down to, like you said, storylines, letting things cook more. Like years ago when they first became a thing, people were just eager to see something new. Some of your favorite stars maybe got released and you're like, hey, I want to see what they're doing. And also we were in the pandemic, so there's not much options outside of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like maybe they didn't learn from that transition. And of course you're going to have your hardcore fans, but what the WWE is really good at is really trying to get the gaze of the non-traditional fan. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what AEW has tried to do more of. If you look at some of their crossovers and things like that, but still trying to appease the hardcore fan with the type of program they have. So they got to kind of find that balance.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting journey. I think they have to be able to show why these companies would continue to pay $180 million a year. Like, that's a massive paycheck. Yeah. So I hope that they figure it out. With more money, they've got, opportunity to hire the right people, to bring on the right people to tell these stories, because it is clear. I mean, Danielson Okada, this match has been on 2 different pay-per-views, Forbidden Door and Wrestle Kingdom. And we got it on Dynamite for 2. And be clear, those pay-per-view matches were not for championships.
Nope.
And we put 2 titles on the line.
They didn't promote it.
I've always wondered how AEW would have fared off if it really pushed their originals more, and they didn't have the other people come into the company get shot straight to the top.
They need to.
I wonder, though, I don't know if that's the issue as much as it is what story have you been telling with them?
Well, I say that to say that I don't think we would eyeball like anybody. I don't think we would look at the ratings so much if it was just predicated on building up those characters as opposed to somebody who made a name somewhere else.
Yeah, but also too how he's shooting it. He's shooting it like it's pro wrestling, like it's a sport. So because you're doing that, you're taking out a lot of the elements that make wrestling this great thing. Like, you're like, hey, I don't really want to make it into this soap opera anymore. I want it to be like you're watching Wednesday Night Football. And it's like, okay, so you're putting together a spectacle of sport between all these matches, but you keep forgetting, like, hey, it takes you to give us a story to get us into these people, not because of just what their name is and their in-ring ability. Like, that is great to see, but you're like cutting out the big piece that gets us as fans prepared who are not sitting there. Like, even for the NBA, like, y'all, they still pump up and get us ready for the NBA finals. Like, they get
recently.
Yeah. Like, they get us prepared for it.
And I think you raise a great point. Every sport talks about the story. Every sport. That's why we've got all of these pre-shows, and that's why Sports Center still exists, and you got all of these offshoot talk shows on sports, because it's all talking about the story. What's the story? That's what allows us to go, "Ooh, I really want it." It's never, people don't watch the NBA just to see, okay, how many points are they going to get? Who's going to dunk on who? No, the question is, hey, will LeBron James win his X number of championships? Right? It's going to happen him and his son on the same team. Right? It's the stories that get us interested in tuning in, and that's what all sports are doing. So I think if AEW is not spending more time doing that, they're missing not just what wrestling is doing, but what sports are doing. And I think they end up hurting themselves in the long
They
run.
better lean into this last season of Inside the NBA really hard. Really hard if they can.
This is going to be interesting.
Yep.
All right. So one other piece of news from AEW, and this one is kind of sad. So Taz was attacked on Wednesday night. We don't know who attacked him, but whoever attacked him caused him to be hurt enough to go into he had to go to the hospital. Ultimately got flown back home, and then he tweeted out today he's going to be gone for a while, as he is going to be having knee replacement surgery. If you've been following Taz at all, you know that he has had problems with his knees for quite some time. He has actually talked about that on air and the like, and so our best wishes to Taz. Not sure when he will be back, because in his words, he is having total knee replacement surgery. So I don't know if that's for both knees, just one, or what, but we'll be thinking about Taz. All right, with that said, we want to get you connected to go get some merch.
Hey, yo, you. Yeah, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen, not knowing what you want to do, like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. Alright? What you waiting for? Head to www talkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Shit.
This episode of Women's Wrestling Talk has been brought to you by All Caribbean Wrestling. Catch the wave. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1.
Shout out to our friends at All Caribbean Wrestling, who's getting ready for their next big show in 2 weeks' time. Fight for Paradise, happening Nassau, Bahamas. That's going to be special. 4 WWE Hall of Famers, an opportunity to win $1,000, plus great wrestling action and more. It's going to be a thing. So for more information, you can head to the website, allcaribbeanwrestling.com. Very excited for that show. Can't wait for you guys to hear all the cool things happening with All Caribbean Wrestling. Switching gears, this is going to be fun. We're getting ready for Bad Blood this weekend, and Cody Rhodes, man, it's just the difference. That everything's so different. Cody, we were talking about AEW. Obviously, he created AEW, but we are in a space now where he's doing big things as the WWE champion, and one of those big things includes being interviewed by Billboard. And Billboard decided to talk to him ahead of Bad Blood. And they asked a question that, well, I think a lot of people have asked in certain spaces, but we haven't seen a question like this in a major publication. Hope y'all are ready for this question. Here's how they phrased the question. They said, quote, "You've become a beloved figure in the Black community. From people on social media changing your name to Raheem Rhodes, to even Arkansas Pine Bluff and HBCU having its school band play your theme song at their college football game. The question was, how does all the love feel?" And so he talked about it. For one, the band from Pine Bluff will actually be playing his theme song tomorrow night at Bad Blood. So that's going to be cool. He says, though, he's always very careful about how he answers this question because he's not sure about how all of it feels. He says, I just want to do all that I can to keep it going. Now, here's what's interesting. He says, I know some of the memes are meant to be funny, and I've seen the name and all that stuff, but that was my dad's biggest fan base. I could see things like the Southern Baptist Church and things that connected the tissue. With me, I'm not sure so much, but I don't want to do anything to disrespect or lose it. He says the community has also been really active in the arenas as part of the journey. And I don't get to WrestleMania 40 without that group of fans. I'm just touched hearing it, and I try to do everything I can not to screw it up. What are your thoughts on Cody's comments about his support from the Black community? Ced, let me start with you on this one.
Out on bail, first out of jail, California dreaming. As soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming, feeding for money and alcohol.
You see, he lost me right there. That's where he lost me. One, I don't like California love, but two, that was bad. That was bad. But I ain't never called him Raheem. I see the memes on it. That's a new one for me. But I think it's funny, and I think it's good that he's safely not leaning into it, but like he knows. But it's also something that's like, I think it's funny that a major publication did this because it's like can almost at times be super overblown. Like super overblown. I don't know if it's that deep. I mean, it's cool. And I think maybe I don't even know if if they're all like hardcore wrestling fans. People know Dusty. People know Dusty's story, how Dusty's like super soul man. So maybe there is some trickle down from that. But I think it's just like if you followed Cody Rhodes and you liked all the other iterations of Cody, you would naturally like him now. But some of those nicknames, I just don't know.
Honey, what are your thoughts on the response there from Cody Rhodes?
Listen, Cody in a lot of people's minds, especially them Cody crybabies, can do no wrong. And the fact that he's aware and he acknowledges, the love that he gets from the Black community it's very telling how aware he is and how much he observes and accepts, what he receives. But it's just I felt like I could I understand the way he responded safely, and he was saying it's more his dad's biggest fan base, and he's doing everything he can not to mess it up, and he'll continue to do that because Cody's been one for the people, one champion for the people, and I guess kudos to Cody. Cry babies.
That was an interesting answer, honey. Courtney, let me get your spin on this because I know you operate in PR quite a bit. What were your thoughts about this response from Cody?
Well, I actually got a chance to glimpse at the article, so I was a little bit nervous considering Billboard was interviewing him, and I was very nervous it was gonna blow out of proportion, and if somebody was going to take like a hot take of a quote or whatever, and it was going to blow up on social. I was very nervous about that, but I think whoever interviewed him hopefully was a fan of wrestling and knew about his father and the history that he had with the Black community. That was also a plus, and also he had self-awareness, which that was so important to have, because him being careful on what to say and how to act, and he's not trying to force himself to do it. He's just being humble about it and also embracing that instead of just forcing it. He's embracing it and also really giving kudos to him, his fan base, and being humble when he meets the fans. So I give kudos to Cody on that. So kudos to him. He's doing his thing and also having that self-awareness in him.
I had to verify that the journalist that asked the question was a black man, so I did confirm. I want to fact check.
Okay.
That doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Councilman, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, since we all tiptoeing around the answer and stuff like that, giving these nice little political answers and stuff like that. Y'all know what it is. Don't act like Cody ain't got no black card. Don't act like ain't somebody that handed this to him. Y'all already know what's up. Y'all know who his wife is. Y'all see how he been acting. He's relatable. Every person can attach to this man's story. That's why the whole finish the story was so great. Everybody has that. You touched on the one thing almost all black men got an issue with. They fathers. So you already touching on that. You already hitting that spirit. It's like, yo, I feel where you're coming from. So you're becoming relatable. You're starting. The thing is, I don't even think he should sit fully on the Dusty Rhodes thing of that being his. I just think that it's both of yours. And it also goes back to what y'all talked about too with the Vince McMahon thing. If Dusty had been the guy instead of Hogan, this wouldn't even really have to be a question because all of this would be here. So I just think because of the way he carries himself, I think the way he answered it is why they have so much stock in him and they pulled the card that they did to have him the story. He knows how to answer these questions right. He knows not how to duck and dodge and also knows how to make sure he keeps the sponsors happy. We saw that in his post shows when they kept trying to throw the stuff about Vince McMahon at him. He knows how to play this game and they've trusted in the right person. But yes, Cody is always welcome to the barbecue. Just don't rap. Just.
And I think we can be okay with that because, you know, as rhythmically inclined as we are, not all of us clap on the 2 and 4. So I hope that we can just be okay with, hey, he can't do everything, and that's okay. But I will say this, though. I think Cody Rhodes is a masterclass in terms of how to handle mainstream media. No matter where he ends up, he hits the ball out of the park. And it's genuinely him. I think it's one of the reasons why AEW in the early days was able to get such great traction because he was the guy doing media. He was the guy answering questions. He was the guy who, you know, ended up in these big spaces. And, you know, we talked last week about some of the media challenges with some of the people who went on the Breakfast Club for AEW and spaces like that. You have to know that these mainstream spaces are going to ask these kinds of questions because it's what the people want to know, you know, and most people might not have enough ears to the ground to be able to ask a question like that and make it make sense. But this journalist was, and Cody was prepared to answer that. So shout out to Cody Rhodes, and we will talk about Cody in just a little bit. But from one man who is a pillar in the community to another who is just a flat-out pillar everywhere he goes, Obafemi, the current NXT North American champion, is knocking on the door of history today. He has tied Wes Lee at 269 days for the longest reign as the NXT North American champion. Tomorrow, he will officially be the longest reigning NXT North American champion. Honey, let's get your thoughts on the reign of Obafemi, and does it continue past this Tuesday when he battles the Don?
I love it. I like it. I've always loved it. Oba was my guy ever since he first showed up. I definitely think this reign is going to continue. I think he should at least till the end of the year, or even going into, you know, when we're around Rumble time. Yeah, keep going, Obafemi. Just keep going. Just keep running through everybody that comes your way. Bring it.
Courtney, same question.
No, congratulations to him. Since I started watching NXT, I've been seeing him, and he's just doing so well. His promos, his athleticism, and I do think he's going to retain on Tuesday. I just wanted him to continue his reign. Now, who's going to be the next person to challenge him? I don't know, but I just want him to keep continuing on his reign, continue saying that he's the champion, and he does get the crowd going with his entrance. So kudos to him, and excited to see continue his title reign.
So, Councilman, let me ask you this. Obafemi officially, as of tomorrow, the longest reigning NXT North American champion in history. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this reign?
Ooh, that's a good one. I give it about an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. It just seems so quick. Like, even y'all talking about, it's like, yo, it don't feel like he been champion that long.
Right.
And he really has. But
Putting that work.
Yeah.
A defending one at that.
Yeah, but to the point why I give it an 8 is because, and I don't mean to say this in a messed up way, there wasn't enough male superstars on the roster when he took it to where it would oppose in that division, if that makes sense. We have a few, but it wasn't a lot to where it's like it's finna be like banger after banger. As compared to like an Adam Cole when he was North American champion.
Well, let's look at some of these opponents that Obafemi beat. I mean, he beat Dragon Lee to win the championship. If I remember correctly, at Stand and Deliver, he had that triple threat against Josh Briggs and Dijak. Yeah.
Let's see.
Wesley, he's defeated him. Trying to remember some of the others. He's had some pretty sound opponents. And we have to consider that unlike Adam Cole, he's still relatively a rookie.
Yeah.
Adam Cole was a former world champion when he became the North American champion. But Obafemi literally won the breakout tournament a week before.
And just came and took over.
He beat Hammerstone. Thank you for mentioning that, Jeffrey. So he is beaten
Lexus King.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we got a list.
Ivar, yeah.
Ivar.
I still stand by this. I'm still standing by these cats are okay. This is no knock to his reign as what he did, but these dudes I didn't believe any of these people would beat Oba at all. Like, none of them. People were like, oh, this is gonna do. No, he's not. No, he is not. He is gonna walk dog.
I think the ones that really had potential to beat him was like Wesley, Dijak, Brooks Jensen. You know, like I feel like those guys, like there could have been like potential winners for them, but
Wesley for real.
Well, yeah, because considering that he made a strong case for, you know, winning a title that he had to give up or losing a title he had to give up.
Honey, did you not see that match? Wesley
I did. Of course I did. And then you remember what my vote was. I was still voting for Oba. I'm just saying there still could have been a possible chance where they booked it differently. But, you know, Sean still did the right thing either way.
I say this now. Wes, don't you ever step in the ring with him again. I was genuinely concerned for Wesley in this match. I was like, yo, this dude is going to hurt you. You need to stop. When I saw him in the air, I was like,
yeah.
I've never seen a superstar in the air that high without a leg.
Good.
But yeah, I say an 8, and I would say I would love to see him dog walk Tony D'Angelo next Tuesday. And I'm still saying, I know it only happened once. I'm still dreaming for it. Double champion, the ruler, Obafemi. NXT champion, NXT North American champion, and accepting all comers. Come take these titles from me.
That would be insane.
Wow. Ced, how would you rank this title reign for Obafemi?
It's hearing the names, and I know it doesn't sound as spectacular, but they're all very good in-ring performers. So it's 10 out of 10 just because of the style points that he's doing it with. It's not like he's inching out victories. He's absolutely dominating the people in the ring with him. Big or small, fast or slow, it doesn't matter. 1 versus 1, triple threats, it don't matter. Style points. He's embarrassing people. This is a good problem to have, and this is honestly why he's been stuck in this division for so long, because of the style points. You can't put Oba in the ring with Trick right now. You can't. You cannot.
Yo.
So for that standpoint alone, we better hope this title reign continues a very long time. If not, Oba gonna be in catering, because you can't do that. Like, so here's the part that I dislike. Is I think we know what happens on Tuesday. Now that he has the record, it's secured by a few days. I think he's going to drop. And I'm not saying that's the right decision, but I think it's the decision that they're making to give Tony D'Angelo the desperate character shift that he needs for like the 100th time. I don't think it's going to be clean. I think you're going to see whatever illegal Don tactics come out, cement bricks, whatever, that he just gets a pin somehow and becomes North American champion. But that will free Oba up, but pray to God they don't put that man in the ring with Trick.
That's gonna piss me off if they do that to Oba that way.
I mean, you saw what happened with Sammy and Gunther. Tragic.
I just
Sammy, because
Tony
That-
D is no Sami Zayn. Personally, I think Tony D'Angelo, after all of his training, still needs to lose this match, so that if we're going to get a character shift, it's going to happen that way. It won't happen with him winning the championship. Him winning the championship is only going to cement, yes, I am the Don. This Don thing should have went away before NXT 2.0 went away. But so it has long extended past its welcome. So we'll see what happens. I'm for Oba all day, every day.
Yes.
With that said, all right, let's have this conversation.
Yes,
well, let's wait on this conversation. We'll come back.
please.
Nah, he's smart for that one. He's smart for that one. Let's get the Smackdown clip going. Yeah, let's get the Smackdown
tonight. Takes place from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. It's going to be quite the card leading into Bad Blood. We're going to have a dumpster match between Michin and Chelsea Green. Then from there, the return of AJ Styles. That should be pretty special. Then Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns will kind of have one last thing before they get ready to battle the Bloodline over at Bad Blood. And then this match, triple threat match, ladder match for the tag team championships. The champions, the Bloodline, a.k.a. the Gorillas of Destiny, take on DIY and the Street Profits. So let's start here. Who's walking out of here as the... Oh, Lord, I'm not doing that. Who's walking out of here as the tag team champions tonight? Courtney, we'll start with you.
As much as I love DIY and the Street Profits, I have to go with Team New Bloodline retaining.
Yes.
As much as I love DIY and I would love for them to get it back, but let them keep cooking a bit, because I want to see something happen in the tag team division. But Team New Bloodline's going to retain.
Okay. Said?
First things first, I hate this Tama Tonga render so much. It's supposed to be a menacing face. It looks like he has gas.
It does. It does. Look like I got a boo-boo.
Oh my God.
That is definitely, I got a boo-boo face.
Wow.
I'm gonna throw a shot in the dark, and I'm gonna say Street Profits take the win here. Only because I think that is gonna be the first, like, you want to call it, like, flaw in the armor of this new bloodline that leads into what happens tomorrow night, that allows them to try to regain that strength in that tag team match tomorrow night. So I think Street Profits get a win. I think they desperately need a win because they're kind of just floating around, have been for a while.
Okay. Councilman, who's walking away?
Profits up.
Okay.
Profits up. Yeah. I don't believe in long reigns anymore. After all of I've seen, I really see the celebration at the end of SmackDown. Street Profits holding them titles on the ladders and becoming the new tag champs.
Honey.
Contrary to what you see on my shirt, because I am and will forever be the sweetest honorary Oos, I am picking Timu Bloodline to retain. I love it. I love it for profits and DIY. I really do, but I just feel shenanigans for some reason.
It's a ladder match, so anything can happen in this particular space. So it'll be interesting. Let's dig into this.
Your prediction.
You know, this is going to be tough. I mean, there's definitely the case for the Bloodline. I think it's unfortunate nobody has picked DIY in this one. And, you know, when you start talking about ladder matches and this type of thing, this is their wheelhouse. I personally would love to see it for the Street Profits. I think they have been, you know, they have been showing up. They have been doing battle. They've been doing what's been asked of them. I think it is definitely time. At this point, I feel like it is either win the tag team titles or go your separate ways, because at this point, I feel like Angelo Dawkins is no longer the weak link. I think they both are very, very strong and could have solid solo careers. So it's time to either go, let's become champions, or let's go our separate ways. And we'll find that out tonight. Let's go back and look at the women's match for tonight, the dumpster match between Michin and Chelsea Green. What do you say, Ced?
It's going to be Michin wins just because we're going to get some amazing content from Chelsea in the aftermath.
I could see that. I could see that. Courtney.
I've been looking forward to watching this match. I'm actually gonna go the opposite. I want to go with Michin, but I'm gonna go with Chelsea Green.
Okay.
Win or lose, she's gonna have content on social.
Okay. All right. Councilman.
Oh man, y'all got me wondering. I was so adamant about my choice, but now the content I just heard picking trash out her head. Like I'm going to go with Chelsea Green because of Piper Niven. I feel like Piper Niven might get involved and then throw Michin in the trash, and then her standing on top of the dumpster just like this. Like, I did it. Okay. Honey.
I am in agreement with Councilman. I am going to be on the side of Chelsea Green. Michin did pick up a sneaky win on Piper Niven last week, and of course, I'm sure Piper Niven cannot be happy about that. So, yeah, Chelsea Green will have the upper hand, and it will be due to the numbers game.
All right, this ought to be great. I'm not sure who I'm going with because there's a case for both of them, honestly.
Yeah,
but this is her thing, Michin's thing too. Yeah.
I think and Michin deserves a really big win. Like, she really, really does. She's another one that has been, you know, kind of coming in and doing the work. So
yeah,
we'll see. All right. So that means Bad Blood is tomorrow night. And when it comes to Bad Blood, there's a lot of conversation. So let's go to that conversation, shall we? Starting with Liv Morgan taking on the former women's champion, Rhea Ripley. They will be battling for the Women's World Championship. Who are we picking here? And I know, Ced, you've got a great conglomeration. There's a good AEW term for you, Courtney, relative to all of the people who will have made picks, and you've put that together in a fun publication coming soon. But let's get our thoughts very quickly. Who's walking out as the Women's World Champion? Of course, Dom will be suspended in the shark cage over the ring. Courtney, we'll start with you.
Oh, boy. Before I get into my pick, there is a little fact I found out about tomorrow, because not only it's the 27th anniversary of the first Bad Blood, but it's also the 27th anniversary of Brian Pillman's passing. So that was mind-blowing that I found out, and I thought that was interesting. But I smell shenanigans in this match. Even though Dom is raising high, I just have a feeling Rhea's going to get screwed either way by somebody from either the Judgment Day or somebody we haven't seen in a while. So I'm going to pick Liv Morgan as champion.
Okay. Said.
Like you mentioned, I got this article coming out and I clicked everybody's picks, so you'll be able to check that out this evening. I feel like there's more to be told with this story, and you need Rhea to chase to do so. She hasn't lost any momentum since dropping the title. Still one of the biggest stars in the company. Liv Morgan retains, and I don't feel like it'll be due to Judgment Day influence, because they'll be tied up with trying to deal with Damian. I think you'll see Liv's former tag team partner emerge, thus kicking off one of the best rivalries that Rhea has had to date.
Okay. Honey.
Mommy wants a belt back, so Liv Morgan should just give it up while she can, because Mommy's not going to stop until she gets it. Regardless of the shenanigans, I think they'll try to pull something, but it's going to probably backfire because Mommy's a lot smarter than they are.
Okay. Councilman.
Mommy's going home empty-handed. I'm sorry, my tag team partner, but nobody puts Dominic in a shark cage, okay? And thinks they're gonna walk out to win. You don't do that to Dominic. I think Liv Morgan is gonna retain, because I've said it before. This belt looked good on her, and I think we have not even got to see what Liv can do as champion. And then also, to Mayor's point, this frees up Rhea to go do so much. Like the rivalry between, like, you know, Liv's former tag partner, but then also too, the heat NXT is getting. Imagine Mommy going back down there to take on Julia or Stephanie Vacour. It frees her up to do all of that stuff, not having to worry about holding the women's world title. So I'm going Liv for this one.
All right. I'll be going with Rhea for this one, and we'll see how it goes down. The other women's title match that's going to be there will be Nia Jax taking on Bayley. Courtney.
I would have loved to pick Bayley, but
No, you wouldn't.
I know, but I gotta go with the queen. I gotta go with the queen on this one. But of course, we're gonna see Miss Money in the Bank, Princess Tiffany. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see Princess Tiffany lurking around during the match, but I gotta go with the queen. I gotta go with the queen retaining.
Okay, set.
Did none of y'all pick Bailey DeGeneres? I'm gonna stop y'all right there. I'm gonna stop y'all right there. We can just go ahead and move along. I got the picks already. We crossed the board with Queen Nia, and we're gonna make sure we know that is the fourth best horsewoman.
Oh,
I didn't know Sasha Banks was back. I didn't know is she signed with the WWE again?
We will foreshadow that Miss Perez will be seeing Bailey on Tuesday nights pretty soon.
That'll be sick. And she's gonna beat her too.
Oh boy. All right. Well, I
just gotta say though, Nia Jax looks stunning in this picture. Like,
it is a very good look for her. It's a
Yes.
very good look. All right.
Bloodline of her.
It is Hell in a Cell, Drew and CM Punk. Courtney.
Drew McIntyre. I just have a feeling Drew is gonna win for some odd reason.
This is actually one of the matches that we were all pretty divided on as a crew. Me personally, I took CM Punk, alluding to the fact that to really think about how this rivalry started with just because of the injury, and it kind of caught lightning in the bottle from the Royal Rumble all the way back in January. If CM Punk doesn't get hurt in that match and Drew doesn't really feed into the injuring him, where are we with both of these characters. We don't get this version of petty Drew McIntyre. We don't get the back and forth jabs with CM Punk on the mic for months with the torn tricep. So I think with history on that side, I have to feel like this would have been the year of CM Punk had none of this happened. And for that, I'm taking CM Punk.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I'm going with CM Punk on this one. Obviously, the one who has the most experience inside Hell in the Cell. And I feel like he could use a pretty good win, especially getting the momentum that he's getting, after dealing with Drew McIntyre for so long. I think this is pretty much going to be the cherry on top to their story, and pretty much, capping it off for them too. Shout outs to Drew. He's definitely going to put up a hell of a fight. This match is definitely going to hurt. I heard that this match is also going to be opening the show. It's going to be absolutely crazy, but I'm looking forward to seeing CM Punk get his hand raised.
I think you mute, Professor.
Oh, you mute.
Oh, sorry. Thank you for that. I'm sorry. Councilman.
I'm going with CM Punk ass just so this thing can be over. I'm tired of this round. Move on.
I literally was waiting the whole show just for that.
Yeah. Let's get this done. Let's CM Punk win. Move on to something else. Like, go annoy someone else. And Drew, get back to the World Heavyweight Championship.
Hilarious. All right. Damian Priest, Finn Balor. Courtney.
This is going to be a really good match. And I've been looking forward to this match for weeks since Damian Priest got screwed. But I got to go with my guy, Finn Balor. Finn, they're going to deliver, but I just got to go with Finn Balor. And I think for him, this is kind of for him to continue a little bit more of momentum. And also with this win, it could really support him out in storyline wise in the long run. So I'm taking my guy Balor.
Said.
Finn about to let y'all know y'all must have forgot. Ain't no sidekick. Ain't no sidekick. Finn wins this, and I'm leaning towards some type of interference, but I really don't think he needs it. I think he gets this clean, and Damian continues to chase.
Okay. Honey.
Absolutely. Finn Balor, 100%. Nobody spills more bad blood than a demon. Okay. I'll tell you guys that right now. And also, I think that it's time for Finn Balor to drop the tag team titles and start going back to what's really on the agenda and winning that big one. But either way, I feel like this is definitely going to be another cherry on top to their story. But Finn Balor is definitely going to come up the winner on this one. No shenanigans involved. He absolutely doesn't need it. We know this guy is a main event player and he can go toe to toe with anyone. Being that he's wrestled all over the world, so Damian Priest got his hands full. I love Damian Priest. I'm all for Damian Priest, but Finn Balor today.
Councilman.
Dang. Well, you thought this would be a full agreement with this team. No, sir. But Damian finna show y'all why they chose him to be champion, not Finn. That's what we finna see. We finna see Finn catch South from heaven so he can be done with this and move forward. I think Finn still got some time in the tag team division. And just to be honest, I'm not sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Finn got a lot of work to do to get back to world heavyweight status, in my opinion. He has it there, yes, sure, but like I've seen so much happen to where it's just like I don't necessarily have that belief in you no more like that, especially after the whole Seth Rollins loss for a couple of times. So I would love to see him dominate the tag team championships with JD McDonough and continue to grow the Judgment Day. So like you say, he started becoming that leader, honey, that we were mentioning about. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can see him now taking on Gunther and getting this championship because I've seen him fight Gunther and he lost.
Those are all Damian Priest's fault, though.
Is it? Is it though?
We're not gonna listen. No,
I'm gonna say Damien for the win because of time wise.
he doesn't. He doesn't watch this business. This business watches him.
Okay. Well,
what do you think, Professor?
I'm going with Finn on this one.
And also, Professor, did you pick? What was the previous match? You picked
Punk. Yeah, I picked Punk.
You picked Punk. Okay, I didn't know if you picked Punk. Or
Yeah, I picked Punk. Let's see. So this leads us to the main event. The Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa against Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Who wins? That's the question. Not what happens after the match. Not what happened. Who wins? Courtney.
Timing for time restraints, I actually picked Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns to win the main event. That is who I'm picking.
Okay. Said.
the fans, number one. But I'm picking the Bloodline, and I think this is going to be the official Jacob Fatu showcase. For extra detail, Cody's taking the pin.
From who? Solo or Jacob?
From Solo.
Okay. Honey?
Oh man, this is gonna be a damn good match. But Cody and Roman are not winning. Jacob and Solo, I guess they will kind of win, but the real winner, I think, is going to be Dwayne Johnson. Reveal yourself, sir. Reveal yourself as the wise man to this bloodline. I know it's you behind the curtain. I know it's you. Do it.
Councilman?
Joe Hendry is going to win this match. Joe Hendry is going to come out, and we're all going to believe tomorrow night.
That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great.
Timu Bloodline, though, they need the victory. I don't think it hurts Roman or Cody to lose to them.
Well, yeah, because Roman ain't taking the pin.
Yeah, Roman absolutely can't take the pin.
Roman, I do that. Nah, Roman,
no way Roman takes his pin.
Oh, no, the only way that happens is if the final boss comes out, Rock bottoms him, and puts Solo on top of him to win.
That's not going to happen.
Okay,
I still think that's a lot for Roman to have the Mania loss and then this too.
Not in his first match back.
Absolutely
we've had two mentions of this guy. So let's talk about what a lot of people are talking about. The Rock. Many are saying that perhaps he could appear tomorrow night, since tonight he is supposed to be at a high school football game here in Georgia. He had already committed to attending the game for the Appalachian High School. And the reason he did that is because he visited that team's football team and their school, because they were the school that had the high school shooting that happened here just a couple of weeks ago. And so The Rock went to visit them, and he promised to be at their game, their high school game opener, which is tonight. So that's why he's in town. People are thinking that because he's here, that will mean it will spill over into tomorrow night. Very quickly, yay or nay, does The Rock show up at Bad Blood tomorrow night? Courtney.
It's really interesting because it's like I want to say yes, but at the same time I want to say no. And I like surprises. But gonna be an interesting one. I'm actually going to say probably not. I don't predict him being at Bad Blood tomorrow.
Okay. Said.
Heart says yes, mind says no, and fans are going to be pissed when he doesn't, and that they made that the main event over Punk and Drew.
Okay, honey.
I think he's definitely going to be there. It's not the first time that he showed up in the same place for a, like say he did in Denver for a college football game, and then shows up later on to Smackdown with Pat McAfee, the same person that he was being interviewed by during said college football game. So absolutely, we could even get him tonight, because I said last time we saw the Rock in Nashville, there was a rock concert, so there might be another one tonight.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming tonight. The game is tonight, so
Yeah.
he's good. He's not
He's
that
definitely
good.
he's definitely coming tomorrow, though. He's definitely coming tomorrow.
Councilman, do we get a rock sighting tomorrow?
Yes, we do, because I'm gonna live in the land of delusion. This is wrestling is great again. Anything can happen. So you in the same city around the corner? Come on now. Something can happen. They got your music ready. I think he does show up. And I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't care what's gonna happen. But as soon as that music plays, my neighbors are finna be upset at me.
I wonder if there's betting odds on this.
Yes.
I'm sure there are on DraftKings.
Oh my God.
True. Well, it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. I, like everyone else, I don't necessarily want to get my hopes up, and I want to be surprised. So I'm going to say no, because there's also some video that is supposed to play that's supposed to have championship implications for the next big PLE Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of things potentially that can happen. I don't know.
The final boss via satellite?
I mean, maybe that's the video. I don't know. But given the movie qualities of these videos that we've been getting from WWE, anything could happen.
I think we're gonna get that final boss activate again. I don't know why. I feel like that's coming back. That's coming back. Like if it's just that, but when it says final boss activated, and then he just standing there and it cuts off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll all find out tomorrow. Of course, Smackdown is happening tonight for sure. We will have a whole watch along, which you'll be able to join in about 30 minutes or so. But here's how you can find us all individually. Courtney.
You can find me over on here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Since next week, because Boss Man Tony wants to put Title Tuesday on NXT, I am keeping my watch along next Wednesday and will do a special watch along of Title Tuesday, because I will also be watching NXT next Tuesday. So I will be doing that. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter on @CourtneyNJ11 to see all the latest updates that I have, whether it be in wrestling, PR, everything in between, and feel free to check it out.
Oh, y'all just gonna let that pass? Ain't nobody gonna react to that.
I'm laughing at Professor's face.
The AEW queen, when they go head to head, is gonna watch NXT. Yes. That should tell you all you need to know. Said, how can the people find you?
I mean, it's NXT. Come on, St. Louis. When you have Randy Orton there, come on.
You just said a whole lot. Wow. Wow. Said.
You can find me on Twitter at @saidsays, like it shows on the screen, on the gram at cedistheanswer. Check my website out, cedricdwelton.com. Again, check out the Bad Blood preview and prediction article that will be dropping on the WWT website later this evening, featuring all of our picks and some little details on how we feel the matches will turn out as well. I didn't get to mention this earlier, but here's how Cody Rhodes can win the black vote in my eyes. If he shows up to War Games with a tank and a No Limit jersey, he can be my champion for life. That's all I'll say about that. But yeah, that's
I'm so
how
done.
you can find me.
He already has. Oh, okay. Councilman, how can the people find you? This guy.
I'm sorry, that threw me off.
Sheesh, what in the world?
But you can now find me at Cody No Limit Soldier on all platforms.
That's how you lean into it the right way.
YouTube and Twitter. We gonna make them say, "Oh!" in the Survivor Series.
Wow.
Yeah,
Done. With the
See,
camo
y'all got the visual now, don't you? Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like.
Imagine the other 4 members coming out the tank. You got the visual now.
Please don't do this, Cody. Please.
Oh
Cody,
my
don't do
God.
this.
No.
The bandana and the
No.
war paint on too
Please,
at war
no.
game.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely
Next, we're gonna
not.
get GI Bro. No.
No, not that. Not GI Bro.
Oh boy, honey, how can the
be the colonel
people
of the tank?
find?
That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
With the
God.
flag, just holding it.
Make them stop.
Got the
Oh,
got the
God.
chain too, right there.
Honey,
Clip this.
please.
Give me
How
Cody
can
Rhodes
they
in the tank,
find
please.
you, honey? Please, how?
Everybody could find me. Please just find me at Wrestling with Honey, Instagram, Wrestling with Honey, TikTok, Facebook, Wrestling W Honey, and the Wrestling with Honey podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Coming real soon. I cannot.
I just
Oh,
can't. I
boy.
can't.
GI Rhodes.
Yo, if I don't get a GI Rhodes shirt, come on.
Thank you for your service, Cody. Wow, sheesh. You guys can find me at bonnerfide across all of the socials. Check out lots of cool videos and content there. Also, you guys, if you want to support the cool things that are happening, there's merch that's out that you guys can check out. ProWrestlingTees.com/bonnerfide. Check that out. I got 2 cool shirts there that I think will serve as great inspiration for you as you guys continue pushing forward on your journey. So check it out. ProWrestlingTees.com/bonnerfide. Lots of cool things that I'll be involved in the coming weeks. Of course, the latest show, Smile, Ashe is with you, will be available very soon at AsheWrestling.com, so you guys can check that out. I'm actually on commentary for this episode, and I'm joined by AC Mack and Caprice Coleman, a dream team. You guys are going to love it. We had a lot of fun, so check that out. Also, I've got some big shows coming up with Southern Honor, All Caribbean, Ashe, just some fun times that are on the way. Enough about me. Make sure you're following us here at Women's Wrestling Talk, WWTalkpod, across all the socials. A lot of great things are happening. Check out the website, www.talkpod.com. And then we have watch-alongs galore, including tonight. Right at the top of the hour, the Smackdown watch-along, which I think is going to be fantastic. Honey will be the host. That will be fantastic. Also, is there yet another episode for Mr. McMahon, the watch-along? Or have we hit all of them?
There's going to be.
I'm
There's going
asking.
to be. We had some technical difficulties the other night, I believe.
Got you. So we'll find out. Certainly stay connected, and you can check out all the previous episodes either on our YouTube page or wherever it is that you download podcasts. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Jeffrey, Boza, Dylan, Cousin Ron, Andy, Jeffrey, Pachu, which I think is just so cool. Special little nobodies, Eric, Chris. Man, there's a lot of people in the chat, and we love to see every bit of it. Thank you guys for your continued support. It means the absolute world. We can't do what we do without you. So until next time, make sure you enjoy all the great things. And there might be a post show for the PLE tomorrow. I don't know, but just stay connected to us here at Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WWTalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.